Welcome back to the HGC 2017 finals here as we have one more game for you today as Roll20 goes up against Ballistix esports to find out who is going to be moving on. Ballistix esports? That's weird. I kind of mixed the names up for a moment there, but whatever. As we have one more map.
We're all esports.
We're all
Ballistix,
esports.
Roll20. There you go. And
nice.
you know, who's going to go up against Fnatic? It's either one of these teams. It's it all comes down to this. Last hope of North America rests on the shoulders of one battleground.
I think it's really important that Roll20 won the first map. It gives them the opportunity to choose map now after the loss here in game number 3. I think they have to go to it. They have to avoid playing on one of those larger maps that Ballistix would love to choose when given the option.
Well, let's find out what it's going to be, Jay. What do you think?
Well, before we ever even came back on, I could probably pick Braxis.
Oh, this is risky.
I find this to be very, but here again lies in the fact that Ballistix can't just out macro the map to go kill the core. So, I mean, you can do it through altars, which force team fights, which is what Roll20 wants to do against Ballistix.
You have to get the altar first, though. If Ballistix is able to take the first altar and defend it, you're going to be the one who's on the opposite end, the attacking end there. And Ballistix and Korean teams are so good at doing this.
One more thing to point out is that Roll20 picked map 3 times in a row.
Yep.
And so they basically said to themselves, we don't actually think draft is disfavored against us when we give away first pick. Because this value of first pick is actually dubious. It depends on the meta and the powerful picks that are out there. And so Roll20 just gets the comfort of pick of map every time. And apparently they think they have a better shot on towers than on Braxis.
Well, time to get into it then. Game number 3. This is the final game of the day. Ballistix and Roll20 esports 1-1 currently. The winner advances to the round of 4.
It's really interesting to see this Genji ban coming in first. Obviously, STE definitely had his moments of brilliance when there was nothing to peel. I was surprised to see, though, that Ballistix didn't pick up the Tracer they've been going to when available. It was banned both game 1 and 2. Now that they've taken Muradin, Roll20 should be very happy with the task Tracer they have been given. And as you can see on camera shots here, it looks like they certainly are. So a little bit worrisome now for Ballistix. They're going to have to find the answer here.
Tracer is a difficult hero to play when the nerfs are unraveling. The question is, are they? We don't know. We don't know until we speak to them later. But this is a very strong combination. Not just the Tracer with the Tassadar shields. Let's talk also about the level 20 power spike of Tassadar. If they can make it there. And Towers of Doom is one of our longer played battlegrounds. I mean, longer games battlegrounds. Twilight Archon, very strong.
Yeah, and who can forget the get stuck for Tracer, Nick's performance earlier tonight, that insta-kill in the kill zone. These are things to be feared from a good Tracer player here. Let's see. They're just going to go to their standard go-to picks here. The Greymane, the Kharazim, that extra damage here. No lockdown provided so far, minus the Stormbolt they already picked up with the Muradin. Very difficult to hit a Tracer with that.
The whole thing about this is when I was researching all the different Tracer players, Roll20, it's been several months since they've played it. Obviously, I'm sure they practice it, but you talked about the nerves and being in the competitive scene. We'll see exactly how well practiced this is, but I really like the response from Ballistix. We get the Kharazim, which can really help deal with a lot of the auto attacks when you get the Earth ally. We see Greymane as a great counter once you get that lockdown. Now, I really wonder, will we see a potential Brightwing as a pickup for Ballistix to try and get that point and click and then try and capitalize on that? We see the Abathur ban in return to make sure there's no double Greymane as well.
I feel like it's the lowest place that Abathur has been on the entire Towers of Doom for this whole tournament so far. Him coming in second ban, or second ban phase, I should say. So there you go.
Yeah, we see some first bans, some first picks indeed, but Abathur's win rate has dropped just a little tad. He just lost, like he was 5-1 into the day. Now he's like 5-3, 6-3, something like that. So teams are dealing with him decently. Now, if Brightwing comes out for Ballistix, and let's say Roll20 doesn't pick it up, Roll20 would need Cleanse to save Tracer from a blowout, but they can still pick it themselves.
I think right now when I see this, it reminds me of the draft earlier, is that Greymane, he'll be protected by a Divine Palm, most likely. Kharazim has an activatable spell shield at level 13. Muradin is incredibly hard to kill, so I really want to see Roll20 move into some extra type of damage. Obviously, we saw it work out well earlier with Expert, but we had a lot of question marks going into that draft. When they play this style, it doesn't necessarily make me feel like they're going to have a lot. When I think about their hero pools, it doesn't make me feel like there's going to be a lot more around that. Glaurung, most likely the Tracer player, Prismaticism sliding over to Tassadar, but we might see how that works out. But then the Goku pick is going to be the go-to on, will it be a melee-style hero? We'll find out.
Wow. Stitches, Stukov. So bringing out the Stitches here, he gets to play, but will this pull into Lurking Arm combo be enough? And will we even potentially see a draft into Force Wall to try to get those picks? I think it's a possibility, but I think you lose so much damage when you take that. Already got double support. Is Stitches going to be your only tank here against such a strong DPS lineup from Ballistix with Greymane, Karazim? If Stitches falls, you're going to have a bad time. If they do this, if they commit to this, I think they're going to be so pigeonholed into Stitches picks. Is that how you want to try to get out of the quarterfinals of BlizzCon?
Yeah.
Feels a bit risky.
It is very risky, and there's still a few question marks on Roll20's draft. Is it Gorge? Is it Putrid Bile? I think it probably will be Putrid Bile because he needs that mobility to get away from the very, furious onslaught that Ballistix is able to field here. But Ballistix also needs to wonder, what if it is Hook Gorge play? Can we deal with that?
Right.
Well, most of their heroes have a dash for now. And Void Prison.
All right, well, the Zeratul pick, we saw Rich on that previously. Now we get to see a little bit of Zhang Ha. And I remember a call, an epic call from Wolf on Towers of Doom.
Oh, man.
Zhang Ha diving in the death zone.
Well, not only could we potentially see that, we could also see SC's Zeratul, which was feared to considered to be the greatest Zeratul of all time because we have Dahaka and Zeratul. I want to stress this again. This never, ever, ever happens in Korea. And like, if it ever did, it would be with this call. Picking Vikings into a Zeratul here. Roll20.
And into Dahaka.
Yes. This is super ambitious.
I mean, I just almost want to trust them. Like, by logic, it looks like this is the worst choice ever. So it almost makes me feel like that it has to be smart, right?
Quick pros and cons. Vikings work well against Murden. They work pretty well against Karazim. They have a lack of wave clear. If I were countering Vikings, I would take things like Greymane. They have it. Dahaka, Zeratul, they have it. I mean, this has to be a very passive Viking play because Zeratul will eat those Vikings up like they are nothing. And so this is, oh man.
Do we get a Korean-style Wisdom Duelist
That's what
coming
I was
out
thinking.
from Greymane? I mean, you have vulnerable targets there. This used to be the go-to pick on Towers of Doom. A lot of North American teams, I remember an old Tempo Storm, roster back in the day. It was like, just ban it out against them. Let's keep something else normal. It was the thing to do on Towers of Doom.
But it doesn't make sense here. When you have Vikings, your warrior must be someone that can get quick pickoffs reliably in 4 seconds or less.
Yeah.
You can't wait around forever to do hooks in order to roam around S4 and get kills.
Yeah.
So this is like a different style. It's like passivity style. You hold back, you wait for a hook, you poke, 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 poke. Tracer can poke, Tassadar can poke, sure, but
I'm worried.
I don't see it yet.
I'm worried too about whatever ends up happening if they just leave simply Eric in the top lane and roam as 4 with the other 2 Vikings pushing a little bit or soaking a little bit. What happens to that top lane when Dahaka is pushing? The Vikings can't deal with that, so you have to rotate up. They have the better rotational power. They have Zeratul here. Wisdom Duelist, I think, could be so strong. It's only solo support Karazim here, but you're going to get those kills on the Vikings. And I mean, I feel like this draft, there's something we're not seeing here, and there has to be.
Well, let's see how this is going to work out. It feels like an amalgamation of multiple strategies coming together here for Roll20 to try and push them on to the victory. Let's head over to the commentary team as we have the final game of the day here for day number 1.
Last game, Roll20 channeled Team Freedom's Diva. This game, they're channeling Gale Force Esports Lost Vikings. And we're headed to Towers of Doom, a map that's done well for North America in this tournament so far.
It's also something that, North America has just, in the past, the Towers of Doom is a map where typically we can hold our own. I just did not think that when all was on the line here for Roll20, they went to the North American Classic, trust in the TLV.
Well, let's see if that trust pays off. Our final game of the evening as we head into Game 3 on Towers of Doom with Ballistix and Roll20 tied 1-1. In the blue, reigning BlizzCon champions. Hooligan playing Murden, Jungha on Dahaka, SCSC playing Zeratul, Swoy playing Karazim, and SDE on Greymane. Let's hear it for Ballistix.
And in the red, representing North America, 1 game away from doing what everyone said they could not do. We have Glaurung on the Tassadar, justing on that Stitches. TLV played by Goku. Prismaticism's on that Tracer, and last is Buds on Stukov. BlizzCon, give it up for Roll20 Esports!
Ballistix may be the previous BlizzCon winners from last year as Eric goes down. But they by no means feel that way. They feel like they are a new team and they are attending the HGC Finals with BlizzCon for the first time because of all the changes they've had. Losing Noblesse, who was the heart and soul of the team, and then bringing in SDE, bringing in Hooligan on the team. But they were able to get the victory at the Eastern Clash. And they're close to being able to go to the quarterfinals if they can just get this one last game.
Hook attempt being dropped there. Nice silence onto Hooligan, but Swoy's there with the heals. He's going to be just fine. And I just want to bring to light here, if you look into North America's past versus Korea, this is not the first time we have brought out the old school TLV to try and bring up, you know, getting upset against teams that maybe we considered too tough to be able to take on our own. And every single time, Korea has just dismantled it. They are very, very good. It's just not playing into the Zeratul. Oh, wait a minute here. Bud's in a bad spot. SC finds himself the first kill. Jungha with that brush stop. Drag unable to land there with a nice juke out adjusting.
Yeah, it wasn't the Vikings that Ballistix were after as they take down Buds and get a kill on Stukov. Everyone can be vulnerable, really just Tracer trying to be the one who can dive into the team, and otherwise, it's on Goku now, and it hasn't escaped me to see the role swaps that we've been seeing from Roll20. With Goku now playing the Lost Vikings, with Prismaticism on that Tracer, Glaurung being on Tassadar, being willing to step back and allow the other two players, these amazing damage dealers, to be able to shine on these heroes. But so far, the Vikings have lost a couple of people.
It does feel like Roll20 here has accepted that they are, you know, all a part of something greater than themselves, setting the ego aside in order to go what is best for the unit. And the reason that they find themselves one game away again from doing the unthinkable. But we're 5 seconds out from the very first altar phase, and you know that Roll20 wants to claim a minimum of 2 of these with the Lost Vikings.
There is Zeratul taking down Eric in the top. Swoy comes in and stops Buds. Now SCSC channeling on one side, while Jungha channels the other.
Pulse bomb. It's going to be dropped onto Hooligan. He gets the armor though, so he's going to be just fine. Jungha did secure the top left altar as well. So when it's all said and done, the members of Roll20 down a couple of shots.
Yeah, the trade favorable for Ballistix because they got the Viking kill, and that is the power of having SCSC's Zeratul. Both the Zeratul and the Dahaka, really just about everybody here can take out a Viking so quickly, and that's going to be rough for Goku. He's got his work cut out from here.
Yeah, it's going to be a very tough moment there. Party Shrub set out for the members of Ballistix, but you see SC there showing why he is a very revered Zeratul player. So much so that I believe it was even him who busted out the original stacking against Vikings combination with the old Q-build Zeratul. Way back. I mean, that's like about a year and a half ago, I think, when that was meta.
Yeah, back when it was still gathering power, but not in this case. No stacking yet. We may see a Wizened Duelist at level 7, though, for Ballistix and their Gray main. But at this point, things look good for Ballistix. They have the 2 altars that they were able to get out of that phase. They are able to get a few kills here, and they're starting to get ahead in experience, which versus a Vikings team, that's looking pretty for you to be able to win a game.
And typically when, you know, because the Lost Vikings is such a rare pick, how you want to play that map, how you want to be playing is just have such a dominant foreman that you create so many problems that you're getting value out of that side soak lanes. But with Ballistix constantly hunting down Eric, Balog, and Olaf, it just feels like that Roll20's not getting what they wanted out of that pick, and after the Stormbolt and drag, Buds is out of here. Another kill here for Ballistix.
Justin maybe hoping that he could get not even a kill necessarily from that, but even helping hand Buds back. But Roll20, we have yet to see what it is this strategy is designed to do, yet to see any breaking point for them as the Vikings are dropping like flies in this game.
Yeah, they're going down very, very quickly, but a moment maybe to turn things around is, keep in mind, this is a pre-10 full level lead for Ballistix. They draw up the dimensional shift. No one too hasteful to get onto this channel. Eric's scooting on up here as he's going to go ahead and stop that in, but quick to respond as Hooligan.
Well, this is a better situation for Roll20. There's just the single altar. There's the flank. Drag hits on Glaurung. Gets out. No, he doesn't. He is taken down, and so is Stukov. 2 quick kills for Ballistix. Ballistics.
They get the drag on adjusting. Pull Stitches out. He wants to play, but maybe not with the members of Ballistix. Finding another kill there onto the Lost Vikings, and it looks like Ballistix here is just going to really get this game snowballed out of control.
Yes, a 2-level lead, roughly 1.5, but this early in the game is not something you see so often.
Especially against a Lost Vikings composition. If Abathur is the I'm going to lose the early game hero, TLV is the I'm going to win this early game. It's very different than, you know, maybe a Tyrande composition, but the fact that this is the case for Ballistix is a very grim story here for the members of Roll20. They back out, they're gonna pick themselves up a boss. We're a long ways away from heroics. At this point, I'm ready to sit back and see what is Ballistix going to do with this huge window of opportunity.
Yeah, Ballistix is feeling good to go get a boss instantly at 10. They have to be having their cake and eating it too. They even took Wizened Duelist, and they are halfway through the stacks of that. So that means that SDE is just going to get scarier and scarier in fights. Not to mention the heroic abilities, you know, Void Prison.
I think I want Longboat Raid. I'm still back and forth on the heroic choice here for the Lost Vikings. I just feel like play again though, and maybe has better team fighting post 16. I feel like Roll20 should not be looking for 16 as a go-to strategy anymore with how dominant Ballistix has been. That being said, it's not like things turn around here for Longboat Raid either. Ever since long ago the nerf came in, it has really kind of been a non-respected heroic until 20 comes online.
Heroics are almost here, so we'll see if that is the case. Hooks have not really been doing much for Roll20, and they have had to back off and continually just give and give and give to Ballistix. But now this might be the place where things change. Now that we have Gorge, it is play again. We have the opportunity for some great isolation away thanks to Gorge and then the Flailing Swipe.
I feel like SC has legitimately kept Goku's death timer eternally up. At this point, he's just finding, oh, here's an Eric. Yep, there is an Olaf over here. Very good job of constantly keeping pressure there on the Goku. Justing, he's in a bad spot. He ended up getting the Gorge, though.
There's isolation on Bud, so he can't even help with this. He throws out the Flailing Swipe and immediately stopped from the Void Prison.
This is not going to be good for the members of Roll20. Ballistix constantly getting the flank around. Prismat drops the pulse bomb, gets the recall in. Buds ends up dropping there as the channel is secured here for Ballistix. Going for the throw is SDE. But he's unable to find himself that kill.
Yeah, it just goes to show not only how weak the Vikings are to this kind of dive-oriented play between the Zeratul and the Greymane, as Vikings are just assassinated by Ballistix, but even Buds' Stukov is very vulnerable to dive from that. If they get on top of him, the Flailing Swipe, they can avoid that from that. So things aren't going as planned for Roll20, unfortunately for them.
Max range Stormbolt just barely whiffs there on to the Tracer. Prismat, though, will be able to survive, but we are 8 minutes in, and already Roll20 here, below the 50% HP onto the core, less than half that of the members of Ballistix, now rounding another talent tier advantage over the members of Roll20. Again, I oftentimes at this point sit back and I go, where is the future plan? But a TLV composition, you're supposed to have this lead into your favor oftentimes. There is a late game power spike I'm not giving credit maybe to, and that is the Fury of the Storm potential post 20, the split push pressure into all 3 lanes. But again, is a 20 strategy realistic option remaining here for North America's last hope?
What Ballistix have done such an incredible job of too is keeping track of the mercenary camps, because there is the mercenary lord for Roll20, and if they're able to use that, they also have the Viking bribery, then they could get a lot more out of the sappers and get a lot of damage done to structures, but that even hasn't been going to plan for Roll20, and that's because Roll20 can't stall out any of the altar phases. They lose someone earlier on, they're not able to get the isolation right. Roll20 knows that time is running out for them, so they know that they have to find some kind of maneuver. So they're getting aggressive, they're moving forward, maybe they can get a hook here.
Yeah, we're going to be seeing what they can make happen. SC getting the flank down. Isolation only hits Eric, so that's a big win for the members of Roll20. Justin is under a bit of pressure. Prismat getting the dash in and dash out. We lose ourselves a Viking, and there's the Void from SC.
Prismaticism and Glaurung's Tassadar are going to zone off of this Void, but Junghong dives right on in, doing the damage, and everyone from Roll20 are falling so fast. 3 kills for Ballistix, and a 4th as they take down Tassadar.
23 seconds away from another altar phase. How many shots, though, would this be for the members of Ballistix? Bottom bell tower, very, very likely to get converted. Do they, are they comfortable with this, or would they like more?
They could theoretically hold this off. Look how far of a lead they have. 13 kills to 0 as that altar will drop. But the respawn timers are still fairly low, so let's see what they decide to do. They are setting up. They're going to go for the triple bell tower.
This is going to be devastating here for Roll20. Again, they don't have necessarily good wave clear within their composition to lose all of these bell towers, and we're so far out for a team fight option for this lost Vikings composition. And it all started, again, with that brilliant Zeratul pick on the member of Ballistix. I feel like they had so much foresight. Wait a minute here. Hook, a Gorge. Can Hooligan make it out?
This is Hooligan drops right on top of the silence. The pulse bomb there too, so he couldn't dwarf toss away immediately. Dwarf tosses into Avatar. Hooligan stays alive as the rest of Ballistix comes to his aid.
But two other members of Ballistix conveniently getting the Sapper, keeping the pressure out so that there's no opportunity for Air to convert that bell tower back into the bottom lane. Top is prepped and ready for whenever the members, well, it's going to be right now, decide to go in there and convert that on over, and suddenly it is going to rain shots over to Roll20's core.
The core is ticking down, and it will be stopped with just the one shot as mid is taken. Another Viking goes down, but that's the least of Roll20's concerns. There are shots here from the Sappers. There's going to be shots in the top. A Dragon hits Justing.
Will Buds be able to silence these shots to remove them from the core? The pressure in, the damage there, and another kill for Ballistix. They are unrelenting here to the pressure onto Roll20, and another Sapper soon to follow up.
And
Look
the triple altar phase. This looks to be lights out for the final North American team. The sprays are dropped. Ballistix move into position. 6 shots left on Roll20's core.
Play again is going to be used here for Goku as he finds himself in a bit of a pickle here in this 2 versus 1. They lose ourselves a Baylog. Buds is there to look to join in, but all it takes is one altar for the members of Ballistix. Dahaka is going to go ahead and start this bottom channel, and if there is no interrupts, doesn't matter. Zeratul's got it. Ballistix is going to be able to take this here in dominant fashion over Roll20, 2-1.
Ballistix will move on through the quarterfinals and join Fnatic in the semifinals, making it a rematch of the grand finals of BlizzCon last year. Both of these teams, Fnatic and Ballistix, feeling like they're going to a grand championship position, the championship tournament for the first time, but only one will be able to go on to the grand finals.
And you can see here from Roll20 and other North American teams in this round of 8, the development and growth that they were able to display, getting games that many people said they had no chance of earning. But within the series, as more games come out, the resources drawn far too thin, and each North American team struggling, getting shut out right after.
It was a tall task for North America. Not a single NA team winning their group. So all of them had to go against these powerhouses, these tournament winners, going up against a team like Ballistix, who may have a different roster, but still won BlizzCon last year, even for Tempo Storm, facing the mid-season Brawl champions of Fnatic. It was a tall task, but North America, for me, the story is that they came into this tournament, they showed that NA has developed some good meta strategies, things like the Abathur on Towers of Doom, their Warhead Junction strategy. NA does have a place in competitive Heroes of the Storm.
I think that's completely been proven, not only for all the fans here that we have, but also everybody at home. The performance North America has had has been impressive, but we're gone now. North America is out. We have some huge teams still remaining into the tournament. I am excited to see what kind of unfolds, especially after another amazing performance coming out of Korea. The beast feels like it is awoken, and suddenly now it's big question mark on who's going to come out on top.
2 European teams and 2 Korean teams left in the semifinals. Let's head over to the stage with Kevin and an interview with SCSC.
Thank you so much, JC. That is right. I'm here with SCSC. Congratulations on your victory here in the round of 8. Fantastic play by you guys. I do have to ask a question, though. Was that a more challenging match than you expected from Roll20?
먼저 승리 축하드립니다. 그리고 한 가지 질문 드리겠는데요. 그 롤20랑 붙었는데요. 조금 생각보다 좀 어려운 경기를 하셨는가요?
솔직히 좀 이상한 걸 준비할 거라고 생각했는데 첫 경기에 한 번 맞아가지고 정신을 못 차릴 뻔했는데 저희가 좀 잘하는 픽만 해서 잘 된 것 같아요.
We were expecting some strange picks from them, and then we were unexpected when they first picked that. And then after we lost, we realized we should just pick the best heroes that we play, and that's how we won.
Very good thinking indeed. Now I have to also ask you, the semifinal matchup is against Fnatic. This is a rematch of last year's grand finals at BlizzCon. How are you feeling about that matchup?
다음 상대가 페나틱인데요. 작년 불콘 때는 이제 결승에서 마주쳤는데 이 페나틱이 다시 상대하는 것을 어떻게 생각하시나요?
프나틱이 실력적으로 좀 많이 힘들다고 생각은 하는데 솔직히 롤20보다 마음은 편한 것 같아요.
He believes Fnatic is much harder opponent, but some weird way that he feels more comfortable than going against Roll20.
One final question for you. Is there anything you want the world to know out there, you want BlizzCon to know about Ballistix that we don't already? You're fantastic Heroes of the Storm team. What else do you want us to know?
지금 현재 많은 시청자분들이 블리스틱스 팀을 응원하고 계시는데요. 응원하시는 분들한테 혹시 뭐 하고 싶은 말 있으신가요?
일단 현장에도 되게 많은 분들이 꽉 채워주셔서 정말 감사드리고 그리고 한국은 아침부터 시작했을 텐데 많이 봐주시고 응원해주셔서 네, 감사합니다.
First, we'd like to thank all the fans that's in BlizzCon right now that filled up all the audiences. And also would like to thank the Korean audiences, even if it's very early in the morning, to root for our team.
Fantastic. Very well mannered. Of course, SCSC, congratulations again. Looking forward to seeing you play tomorrow. Well done. All right, that is it for me. What a fantastic day of Heroes of the Storm. Thank you all here for being with us. Tomorrow, it's going to be amazing. Final thoughts from you, Caleres.
That's right, thank you very much. BlizzCon, obviously here, a very, very good day number 1, and Ballistix is able to advance 2-1 over Roll20. And I think, there's been a lot of moments in chat where we've seen a lot of question marks and stuff like that. I think this might have been one of those moments where you can use question marks at your leisure. It was a difficult game there for Roll20 in the very end, and we were theorizing a lot of those components, it felt like 3 different drafts kind of slotted together.
Yeah, that's kind of how it was. Stitches can work with Gorge Abduction together with Medivh. Tassadar Tracer can work with a solid front line or a good cleanse, which wasn't there. And Vikings can work if it's not being countered by a really heavy double lane push like the Haka or Leo or Zul. And when it's not against a really good Viking hunter like Greymane, Zeratul, or Falstad. So it's kind of like 3 things that were really not working for Roll20.
Yeah, I feel like, unfortunately for North America, this was the saddest ending we could ever have. And I said on the draft, I feel like there's something more we're not seeing here. And I think this is one of those things we'll find out later. There was a strategy, or perhaps something went wrong in draft, or there were calm issues. We saw Glaurung very upset after the loss. I feel like there is a story deeper than what we saw, but we'll never know it. And we're just going to see Tempo Storm knocked out of this tournament. Crowd was silent. Very disappointing end for North America. So feels bad, man.
The whole thing about it is when we saw the map pick, we were like, all right, Towers of Doom, this isn't quite what we expected when we thought of it. And it just seems like they were full committed to, we know what map we're going to play. We know that we want to play this strategy. And they didn't really care what they were going up against. And I could be completely wrong on that, but it just felt like that was a forced draft to me.
Right.
You said it, and we've already covered it. It just felt like too many strategies going into one. They just thought they had something to put out there, and I just don't think that they had that much consideration for what was out there. It was just forced.
And overall, Ballistix looking strong, grubby, going on the back of that. Ever opportunistic, saying, well, if you want to hand us that, absolutely we will take that with our extremely powerful comp against it.
Yeah, one of the easiest games for SCSC here on Zeratul, SDE on Greymane, using that Wizened Duelist. It was basically a story of how many times can I kill the Vikings? Look at this. Those kind of cool moves. They're definitely for the better Zeratuls of this world, but ultimately there is not much counter threat. And you just see these engagements are completely chanceless for Roll20, and I agree here with you guys that this is one of the saddest ways it could end for Roll20. Absolutely, this is not a good draft.
No.
Something went wrong. At some point they said, oh, we can just always go here. Maybe there was like a rush decision.
Yeah.
No one can save Stukov because, Stitches, I mean, he has Gorge, he can eat one. What about the others? And it's been a bit of a slaughter, to be honest.
Yeah, there's no follow-up for the pulse bomb. We saw hit SC a moment ago, and it was dominant. And it's just really kind of one of those moments where you could see this is like a textbook. Put this picture next to the dictionary towards when a draft goes wrong, right? And
but let's talk about 3 things that worked for Roll20. First of all, they've taken a map off of 2 different world champions now.
Very true.
In Ballistix and previously MVP Black. That's both within 1.5 year. We've seen really cool and exciting drafts, even to the point that SCSC says Roll20 in a weird way worried them more than Fnatic. So this is always good to have a trick. And then they made it to top 8, you know, 2-1 here, nearly made it.
Yes.
There's definitely things that didn't work, but there is a lot of hope still.
Jay, however, although Ballistix from the group stage into this, aside from the one map that they did lose out on here, still looking strong going into the round of 4. What do you think?
I still think they look really strong, and it's really hard to kind of show your best when you have the different compositions. We saw game number 2, the Garrosh and the Diva strategy. I mean, those aren't things you traditionally see. And when we get to a best of 5, those strategies tend to go out the window. They're few and far between. Dread said at best is like they work once, but they don't work multiple times. So when we see Ballistix, the whole thing about the matchup that excites me the most tomorrow is literally Fnatic, after that series last year against Ballistix, they basically changed their macro game. And it was almost like Ballistix wrote the textbook, they read it in the offseason, and then came out and dominated with it. Their strategies are very similar macro style. They're very above average fighting teams. It is such a, I don't know what the word is for it, but I am so beyond interested in that match tomorrow. It is probably going to be the most exciting one for me.
It's going to be a very good day number 2 as we wrap things up here for day 1. The entire round of 8 has concluded. Tomorrow we will have the round of 4 and the grand finals, 10 a.m. Pacific time. We'll see you tomorrow for more HGC.